Steve from Philly. What do you two make of all these signs of froth and insane retail trading? Typically signs of the end of a market cycle or bubble, though we are at the beginning of a new cycle. How could this go wrong? I think this is sort of interesting because that's obviously Steve's narrative, and in part he's not wrong. But if you look at like Brian's retail stocks, right? His view of what could happen with these companies in any sort of reopening scenario is doubling of EPS, better cost structures, all this stuff. So you look at he's not talking about retail stocks specifically, but that's where a lot of this is playing out, right? It's like the shorts think we're going back to hell in a handbasket. The longs think we have companies that are better positioned on the other side. So you have these two fighting narratives. And I think that's sort of the challenge.
Well, it's not a challenge for us, it's a challenge for Steve.
Yeah.
So that's why you asked the question. And by the way, we had a question yesterday on Brazil. I didn't think it was a stupid question. I just thought that it was an impolite way to state it. I think you said it was brutal or something. But what really happened with Tony, and he admitted it, is that he bought weekly options the minute that I hit the button because he'd been doing that so often that it was working. So that's on him, right? I mean, I don't own weekly options in EWZ. I own the position. It's a core asset allocation on emerging markets. But again, the difference in narratives, I cannot overemphasize what Jonesy just said. I'll just repeat it. That's your narrative, Steve, right? And by the way, unpack that a little bit. Unpack yourself, Steve. Let's do this together. If you knew it was quad 2, and quad 2, anything can happen. In fact, the highest multiples and valuations you will ever see. You already knew that, Steve, right? You were predicting froth, right? So why wouldn't you, even if you want to call it froth, why aren't you long a froth? Why aren't you long a bubbles? That's I had to learn that over the last 22 years. Because I used to be valuation-oriented because my bosses we were GARPy, growth at a reasonable price, and again, I had to get rid of that. Once we're in quad 2, anything can happen and clearly is happening. So it's just confirming quad 2. The word you use, froth, excites me. That is why we rallied off the intraday lows. To have an S&P 500 move, by the way, in SPOOs of 50 handles off the lows intraday because people are shorting froth, that just confirms our fundamental setup that it's quad 2. Yeah. So I think that if anything, the words and the characterizations and whatever it is, there will be a point in time when we're in quad 4 we'll be short of froth, okay?
Yeah.
And, on the first of froth, I suppose that's my job to try to time that. But under no certain circumstances am I feeling scared or having feelings about froth.
Yeah, I think it's, you're right. It's a lesson you learn by doing it too. We've had some, very seasoned, sophisticated money managers who I think have spoken to you or spoken to me, and they see some of these stocks that they think are frothy. They short them, and the stocks very quickly then move 50% more against them, right? And it's a lesson that's hard to learn for the best of, I think, money managers or the most seasoned.
Yep. Here's another one. And by the way, that is on slide, guys. If you can show. We can get a lot frothier, just to be clear. So when you look at something like that comment, slide 30, it's in a picture. We've gone through this before. But this is showing you the put-call ratio. People will say, well, this is really low, like everyone's speculating. It's not even close to as low as it was in 1999 and 2000. Slide 32, guys, if you can pop that up. So what's your point? The point is that froth is going to get frothier. If it is quad 2, all right? If it is quad 2. Now, some of the reasons for that, let's take a little ride on the wild side. Now, let's go to slide 82. So we go from slide 32 to 82, skipping over 50 different slides of confirming why it is indeed global froth quad 2. Maybe a new name for the firth of froth. Now, look at that. Okay. Now, if your problem is that they don't know, okay, these are stupid people, shameful bastards. What about that? This is the total net savings increase of these dumbasses, right? Including me. My savings went up. So all of us dumbasses don't know what we're doing, right? Like we're just buying stocks because we have retail because there's a lot of savings in our accounts, and we can do that. So why is it that was not like exhibit number 1 for Captain America on the short side? Like I've been short selling successfully for a long time. Okay, I knew it was quad 2, and I know that this is a $1.5 trillion, by the way. That's not $1,554. Okay, so that's what's behind it. So if you knew the numbers and you knew that they'd be reckless or frothy, then why weren't you long it? Like it's again and again and again, and you get back to the same answer with a different narrative.